as someone with autism, Asperger's syndrome, I've struggled to express emotions and I've related to Tech and his personality and mannerisms a lot since the Clone Wars Season 7, but this episode really drove that home.
I
I
think that was absolutely on purpose. I think that was part of the story.
I do too. And it's hard knowing when or when not to label a character as neurodivergent in a animated series like this, or even in a live action series. But I think it was pretty on the nose for what Tech was going through and what he says to Omega, as being like, yes, I have trouble expressing my emotions. It can be hard for me, but that does not mean I don't feel any less than you do. And that was like such a important line for him.
And it was nice for Omega to see that and understand it and accept it, and even not even just move on from the issue, but like I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but to embrace him even more. The way
Yeah.
that I loved the end where she repeats his line of like, we'll figure it out together like we always do, and they nod at each other. Like that was such a great period on the end of that sentence.
Omega
But
has so many great moments in this episode that are quiet moments where you can see her looking directly at one of the members of the Bad Batch, where she's like listening very intently and sizing them up, much like kids do with adults. Yeah. And so in that moment, you see her like understand what he's telling her. And it's nice for other kids who may be on the spectrum to see that and to be able to like maybe hear it in a simpler way from an animated show that they love.
And to see themselves in Tech, who is a straight up hero. Like he has an arc this episode where he starts out being very blunt and gruff with Omega, but still like that moment where she falls into the pit and he dives in after her, no thought like I have to save Omega. And of course, throughout the rest of the series, being part of the heroic Bad Batch, like it's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it was touched on a little bit, and you know, you could probably assess that from a lot of his dialogue throughout the show so far, but this episode pretty much solidified it.
I think people have been questioning that and curious about it since he was introduced, but to have him like straight up say those lines was great.
And it's great to see like the smartest one of the group is the one that like has trouble showing emotion and like expressing how they feel. It happens all the time. It's hard.